back to the intro. And then it goes up a bit, then A, B, and then C. But A is twice. It's like repeated. But C is only once. And like I said at the end, if you guys play the melody, just watch me. It's like we, depending on the vibe, we can take it more than twice. But let's take it twice. The end, when they play the melody after your solo, like it's twice. But if there's a vibe, we just take it again. You know? Yeah. See, man. I mean. Music and composition reflects the composer's life, and there are always elements of where you come from in the music. Having come through an institution, we sort of started to emulate others and sort of became copycats, you know. And with this album, I decided to check out where I come from and who I am, and sort of fuse my background with the knowledge I've learned from others and from checking out other people, and that's what you will be listening to. About a year ago, I started playing in church, and that was a great experience for me. Besides like, getting my piano playing up to scratch, you know, it helped me a lot with composition. And I also noticed when playing in church, there's certain chords and certain progressions that sort of touches people. It's weird how it works, and then I was trying to find out, you know, what it is exactly that makes people feel like a certain way in the chord, the colors, and I try to incorporate the colors into the compositions of this album. And then that's sort of how this album grew, from me playing into church, creating compositions, and getting the band together. I think it's fine, Dan. What do you guys think? Kyle, just give you a D. As a band leader, I feel that it's not always about telling the guys what to play, but rather just choosing the right guys to play the music and let them play, you know. You know, when I write music, I sort of have people in mind of who I would like to play this music, or the type of person I would like to play this music, and I think I chose the appropriate guys for this, you know. When it comes to the band, I chose guys that I love playing with. Chose guys that bring the best out of me when I play. I chose guys that can take the music to places I could never have imagined the music to go to, and that's exactly what I got in this band. On the drums we have Spelelo Mazibuko. I started playing with Spelelo when I moved to Joburg this year, and literally played with him once, and then I said, man, I got to have you for this project, and I like his approach to the music. He's very fresh and modern, so he adds this nice, you know, vibe to the album in his playing and his sound and the kit. So I enjoyed having him on this project. On tenor sax we have Sisonke Tlonti. I'm a great fan of Sisonke. I love his sound, I love his approach to improvisation. I find that he's very unique, and I just needed to have him on this project. On piano we have Carl Shepard. When I started this band about a year or two ago, which was still in a quartet, he was always the guy that I wanted to use for this project, because I feel like we on a similar wavelength when it comes to the approaching the music, and definitely with this style of playing, I felt that he was the guy that I needed to have in this project. On trumpet we have Marcus White. I have great respect for this guy. He's very humble, very easy to work with, great player. It was his album African in Space that first inspired me to check out South African music actually, and it still remains one of the best albums I own. It was a great full circle moment for me to have him on this album. On vocals we have Spam Dlalose, great vocalist, great timbre to her voice. I always felt that she blends well with horns, which is why I used her on this album. It's very great to have all of them on this album. When it comes to the recording, Kyle flew up, say, two days before, and we had like one 15-minute rehearsal. We had a gig the night before the recording, and the day of the recording we went to Sumo Sound, Peter Red Studio, and we just played like we did the gig the night before. We just played, and the guys played so beautifully. Like there was good energy amongst everyone. I could tell by the night before already with the gig there was a good synergy. Everyone was digging the vibe, giving their all. So I knew the recording would be a breeze, and it was. I felt when it comes to actually like writing the music, I usually like to jam out the music for like a while before I actually put it onto paper. So I know the whole geography of the song. So what the intro would sound like, the head or whatever, the solo section is more, And then I finally charted, and when it came to the rehearsal, there were a few snags, like some things that maybe didn't work, and we took it out, or the guys brought something that I felt that sounds maybe better to put on the album. And yeah, that's how the process worked. Initially, I was just playing this music on my own. But it was great to get the guys together to play the music with me and sort of feed off each other. I'm really looking forward to more great performances with this band in the future. There's a song on the album called In for Ada. I initially wrote it like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's been in the process and developing as we went along. I wrote it for someone from our church called Ada Lof. And it was basically just a hymn celebrating her life after she passed away of cancer. I decided to write a song for the place that I come from, which was Plain, called One for the Plain. It was a song that I was listening to, I think, Avishai Cohen at the time actually, and I just influenced. There's something in that music also, in his music, that influenced me to write this piece. The title track, Homecoming, for me represents how we as musicians go out into the world, and we become influenced by a lot of other musicians, a lot of other music, and we're trying to emulate other things, but eventually we all have to come home sometime, and then sort of represent my journey of checking out other people and now checking out who I am and my music. This is sort of how the song came about. At the end, I sort of wanted to create an image of when I moved to Joburg recently, and every time I come back with a plane and I see Table Mountain, there's this feeling that you get, and I sort of wanted to create an image or encapsulate that feeling. Yeah, there's a section at the end of Homecoming. When you hear it, you'll just be like, yeah, that's Cape Town. That's Cape Town. It's always my goal to uplift others and not just play for myself, which is sort of ironic coming from a jazz musician. With this album, it speaks to your spirit and you will feel uplifted. I've always felt that I wasn't ready to make an album, but as musicians we have to document where we are at this time, and creating an album is sort of a great way of doing that. The sole purpose of this album is to move and uplift the spirit of the listener and welcome them into my musical home.